And so it is a dear friend, the Church of Divine Light that used to be on Leonard Avenue, and her husband Floyd, they worked and collaborated together. And our speaker tonight, a Coptic and a minister, ordained in 2006, as we just learned a little bit more about in the conversation, and from the Lily Dale in New York. Claudia Gannon joins us, and the Reverend Claudia Gannon, to be exact, and metaphysician, and ordained spiritualist minister. Continued studies taking WSO here within the Coptic Fellowship. Teacher training, which is now self-discovery, and our year 3 of self-mastery, which is part of the master's courses. She's the Coptic team member of the master course, self-discovery, as I just mentioned, and grateful to have her part of the fellowship and presenting this evening. She does host a developmental class twice a month where students can practice giving and receiving messages from the spirit realm, which is always a fun thing to do and very enlightening. I had a chance to enjoy that with her. Today, Claudia presents Living Now, Change, Courage, and Release Attachment.
Living now. Wow, that word now is pretty powerful. And it includes change and courage and releasing attachments. We are all born with the ability to know from our inner, invisible, larger, wiser part of our being. Linking in is easy, like an opening of our heart. Not physically, yet real in each of us. Our impulses, our dreams, our visions, our hunches and desires. Our number one purpose on this planet, every day, setting a positive intent for the world and every living being that makes up the world. Looking out the window holds the inspiration of every kingdom, every possible energy. Earth, symbol of north. Water, symbol of west. Fire, symbol of south. Air, symbol of east. This window on our world is now being opened with clear vision for everyone equally. Each to experience the wonder, peace, and joy from their very core. Contentment is the new emerging energy, releasing attachments to every thought and action which are keeping us stuck in fear and limitation. Listening to our hearts, more than listening to the beating inside this amazing, complex body where we live, listening to the abstract longing and sense of belonging we have all crave in every minute. Can you grasp the feeling of that longing? Does it sneak in from your heart, in between your thoughts, in between your words, in between your breaths? Now is a time to contemplate more than text messages and money and what you will do tomorrow. Ideas shape our moments. Opinions lead our words and responses. Perhaps even they lead our actions. How rigid are those ideas and opinions? Are you willing to release attachment to an idea long enough to incorporate a new twist, a new direction? Does that idea hold all the elements, all the energies, all the directions possible? Or is it limited from the past experience and future fears? Believing in yourself is contentment from the wiser, unlimited self. Doubt carries fear of the unknown. Yet the unknown holds the power of inspiration and creativity. Experience holds tools of potential. However, they can hold us back if we are unwilling to explore beyond them. Bringing your ideas into conscious awareness gives them clarity and power. Power is an energy well worth exploring. Along with the awareness, power is among the ultimate tool for success. Success is about happiness and contentment. Why is it that we are fearful of power? Do we attach the notion of being controlled or manipulated? Can we shift our intent from controlling the outcome to avoid the unknown, to embracing the unknown by opening the window? By loving ourselves, our essence, we have taught ourselves to be very intelligent. Now creativity is at the forefront, pushing us into the unknown, giving balance to intellect and intuition. How can we trust in the unknown? How can we trust in our own words and the words of others? First, we best spend time listening from our heart. Words have power when the intent is to encourage and uplift. Any statement containing a don't, a can't, or a you need to is your first clue. Experiences from our ancient past and our moment-to-moment now can color the message, both the one we are hearing and the one we are speaking. Our world is fast to give an opinion in the light of being totally true. However, asking the simple question, is it 100% true? Are you sure? Will bring in the light of the universal truth. 100% true is not a common happening on this planet. Yet, it can be exciting and evolutionary to explore, as in, why are we here? What do we want? What is our purpose? You know, those trivia questions. Then adding the 100% true factor. We have begun looking from the point, is it true for me or perhaps only true for another? This opens the window a little more for exploring. Billboards. Imagine you have a huge billboard to fill with messages for the world. They can be pictures, words, videos, songs, or anything you can imagine. Let your thoughts create this huge collage of bright colors and endless energy. The universe will arrange them. It will arrange all the details into a pleasing, powerful message, sending it to those who will benefit and be inspired. Some may pass it by unnoticed, perhaps to see it another day in a different light. A storm may block the clarity of its message. Like healing energy, your billboard will remain visible for those who are seeking and align perfectly with the unique energy it radiates. You are that billboard. Courage is the key to living. Invisible courage from the heart. Each unique soul collects courage as it travels on this earthly journey. Each soul reflects and supports the journey of many others traveling with them. Contentment is the energy of all earthly experiences viewed with love and compassion. I'd like to thank all my guides and workers that helped me bring through that message, and all of your energy who has supported me through this awesome place called the Coptic Center. Thank you. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Claudia. Wonderful. As we look forward to change and when we look at these times of change, what are some of the things you're doing to have the courage to release the negative energies that we're all surrounded by right now with everything with the pandemic to everyday life stresses and the political arena, and not to focus so much on that, but just with everything. And obviously, the energies, we all can feel them that are changing. What are some of the things that you're doing to help us as a group tonight?
I think one of the things that people need to do right now is have the courage to follow their heart and the courage to be respectful of other people. You know, this mask thing is really crazy. I talked to a friend of mine up north, and she is pretty much refusing to wear hers, but they also don't have much of that problem up there either. So it's just about, you know, the old golden rule, do unto others what you do unto yourself. So
the way I feel, you know, it's not that much of an imposition to put a mask on. And there's a billboard somewhere that says, show some respect, wear your mask. And I think they're right. You know, I'd hate to have to, if I, God forbid, came down with COVID and I didn't have, you know, by not wearing a mask, and then I had to tell somebody how to go back and trace, my goodness, how could I trace everybody I've been around? So, I don't know. It's a little bit of an inconvenience, but not all that big. I don't know what the rest of you think, but it's just how I feel.
I agree with that, Nancy.
I agree too, Nancy.
I do too. My son was telling me that my granddaughter was on a train from Cambridge back to their house in Shrewsbury, and she said that the conductor came through and everybody had their masks on because it says masks are required to ride the train. And as soon as the conductor went out of their compartment, people started taking their masks off. Mm-hmm. And one fellow who had taken his mask off actually passed out on the floor. And when he came to, started coughing.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, she didn't know what to do. She was not at the same end of the train, or the same end of the car that he was at, thank goodness. Mm-hmm. She said there was probably 20 feet between herself and him, and she had on a double mask she'd put on because she was so concerned about riding on the train. And somebody like that, it makes you wonder, did he have COVID? Is that why he passed out and started coughing? Mm-hmm. And why wouldn't he have his mask on and protect anyone else? I mean, you can't answer that question for other people. You just have to pray that you're doing the right thing. And so rather than make anybody else afraid, I will wear my mask, and I think it protects me as well as protecting others. Mm-hmm. I know I was tested that I don't have it, or at the time I was tested, that's been a month ago now. So, you know, who knows, in between I could run into somebody else that has it and have picked it up. But I don't think I have it, but I still will wear my mask, just in respect for everybody.
Well, some people think that their civil liberties are being taken away. You know, the government's telling me to wear a mask. Well, that's because that's their point of view, them personally. all they have to do is change their thinking and realize that's not the intent behind wearing your mask. The government's not telling you to wear a mask because they want to control you. They want to get a control on the COVID. Then you're not going to be arrested, or, you're not going to have to pay a fine. They're not going to send out the mask police looking for who doesn't have a mask. But,
I think the problem with the mask issue is, as we heard earlier, it's truthiness.
yes.
And there's too much truthiness around that people have been believing.
Mm-hmm. Depending on what you listen to, you get not news, but commentators who are entertainers who are just trying to draw an audience. And some of them like to say extreme things to rile up people and get them to listen. And so if you listen to those things, some people believe those things. And so I can understand where some people are thinking that they're taking away their civil liberties because somebody's been shouting that on the end of a TV or radio program that they've been listening to or watching. And if you've been only watching those things, you really think that's the truth. So that is that truthiness.
Yes.
And truthiness involves letting go of logic and intellect and basic cognitive skills. Yep.
I have been wearing a face shield because
Michigan became, when we stopped allowing cigarette smoking in public places, we were the 35th state. And I don't know if others have followed since then. It's been several years. But there was a reason for that, because someone else's smoking negatively affected me. And it's the same for no-fault insurance, auto insurance. Everybody has to have it. So, and that supposedly helps keep costs down. I don't think it has, but whatever. It's that, if someone else's coughing, breathing, whatever could infect another person, then it's not your civil liberties, it's that person's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
I am personally wearing a face shield. I noticed I was having trouble feeling dizzy, having to breathe with my mouth, feeling weak. And so I happened to hear a doctor talking about the oximeter, the little thing you put on your finger to tell how much oxygen you're getting. And he told the numbers. He wasn't talking about mask at all, but he gave all the numbers, and I put 2 and 2 together, and I bought one at Target. They're $20 or less. And my numbers were not good. And it's supposed to be 95 or above, and I tested it once. It was even 88. And I don't go in stores for a long time, just for a short time. So I gave her a call, and she said, switch to a face shield. She said, that's not safe when you're under 90. So I still want to do what's best for the others. I'm not going without a mask, but I'm trying to find the face shield that is the most, that solves the purpose for both people. And of course, if I had symptoms, then I would be not going out, but I'm not, and I'm not going anywhere else either. And I don't go in any groups, whatever. But anyway, that's what my doctor told me to do.
And now in school, and some schools are real conscientious about distancing and all of that stuff, and some are not. And I wear both the shield and a face mask. I wear the face mask over my mouth.
Yeah.
The shield comes down like this, and I breathe through my nose. That helps a lot. It gets to me after a while too. I feel like I can't breathe when I could not in a mask.
I could not breathe with the cloth one or the surgical. I would over my nose. I had to open my mouth. It was just too. I couldn't do it.
I don't like what it does for all of us that wear glasses.
I put them on purpose because
we get steamy,
No, put it over the surgical. Put your glasses so they over the surgical mask, and then I don't get steamy. Plus, then your eyes are protected too. But
another thing, Joan, I wanted to say, my sister when she was living, she had congestive heart failure. We had a visiting nurse here all the time. And she had to every day test with an finger oximeter.
Yeah.
And they said 90, her oxygen level needed to be 90 or above.
Mine was 88 at one point.
Yeah, that's low. Then you had a problem.
Yeah.
So
So what else are we experiencing with this other than the discomfort of a mask, perhaps? How about the staying in and finding things to do? Has that been a problem? Not for me. I have plenty.
yeah, I have plenty to do too. Like today,
Anybody getting any good books read?
I actually like not having to be on. I was always running here, running there, and because I'm have a very curious mind. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I want to do it all, and then all of a sudden I couldn't, and it didn't bother me at all. I'm enjoying it.
Some people are happier with it, and then there are people who can't tolerate the different lifestyle. Right.
I've been using this at my advantage. My garden has never looked better. And I happened to break a bone in my foot at the very end of February. So that was a really good time to do it because there's so many things I couldn't do. But because I'm about 50 minutes from Knoxville, I'm doing a couple of Zoom classes, one on A Course in Miracles, one on New Age thought. And if I had to drive in, like let's say allow an hour to drive and then an hour to drive back, I can do those things more easily. So it's stressful, and my grandkids are in California, and which is a very, very long drive or a plane trip. So I miss them, but I can see that it's helped me to get together with like-minded people and study and keep my spiritual growth going.
I think the one thing, I don't have problems finding things to do, but the hardest thing for me is I'm missing some people that I love dearly and I can't be with them because of this. And I struggle with that, the sadness.
I'm in classes for Eden Energy Medicine, and because I'm a student, I'm looking to do energy balancing with people. And like our instructor said, in normal times, you would have people lined up at your door. And it's kind of like, so if anybody wants an energy balancing, would like to be my guinea pig, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, it's kind of hard to find people that I feel comfortable with and they feel comfortable with me to be that close up and touching and, that kind of thing. So
my grandson, who is in his 30s, came over one day and we were all hugging when they were going to leave. And he said, "Oh, it feels so good to get a hug." Mm-hmm. So we do have things that we miss. Mm-hmm. But we will endure.
So Claudia, have you asked your guides, the ones that you channel, about COVID and the length of time we got to ride this out?
Well, I tell you, I've asked a couple times, but it has shifted and changed. It keeps shifting and changing. And I think they're just messing with me because they're really not going to tell me when it's going to end. We need to just hang in there and take the quiet time to meditate and enjoy our space. And I think the ones that we really need to send healing energy to are the families that have family members or friends in the hospital and you really can't go visit them. My friend Susan. Pat, you remember Susan from school?
Sure.
Her mother is in transitioning right now, and she's in a care facility. And so the family members can only be in there one at a time. But, I can see how people that are in that situation could be really fearful being in the hospital all by themselves, especially at her age. She's 93 or something like that. And, being surrounded by strangers is a tough thing. So when you send out your prayers, remember them too.
One of the things to consider too, I talked with Virginia earlier this week, and she said, we don't have COVID-19 anymore. It's already transformed about 3 times. So by the time they come up with a vaccine, it won't be for what is around at the time. So same thing happens with the flu every year. So
now, Michelle, I'm wondering if there's any way you can do that energy medicine work remotely. Another benefit from this, I contacted a person back in the Buffalo area who has been sick with different effects from COVID since the middle of March. And I just said, is it okay if I send you some healing? And then he said, well, you want to do it on the phone? And I thought, oh, I haven't done that. And Claudia and I had to do, I think, about 50 of those each year of our training. And I have forgotten just how beautiful it feels, because as you do that and you're interacting with the person, kind of giving them a message and healing, it kind of connects you with that beautiful inner part of them. So, that was a benefit, that somehow in doing this healing and message work, you connect with people, the beautiful inner part, not just the surface.
So doing the healing message work absentee isn't part of, at least not so far, what I've learned with Eden Energy Medicine. I need to be present with the person. But there are other things that I do. I'm a spiritualist minister, as I went to the same school Claudia did. And so that's a different thing. It's like putting someone out on a prayer list like we do at the Coptic Center. And then you can send healing to them. And you can do it in your prayer work every day to, anybody who needs this healing energy, to have it go to them.
And Reiki, I guess you can do long distance healing with Reiki.
Yes.
And Linda, you can do long distance healing with your music.
You think?
Set your intent when you play it.
Okay, I will, Claudia. You're my motivator.
Pick a time and we'll all listen.
Yeah.
Well, our thoughts are things, so we can just use our thoughts.
I think for me, one of my big challenges is, and I'm in a very, very heavy right wing area, and to focus and to do my best to honor and respect people whose ideas are very different than mine, like we talked about as far as the masks, and for our political leaders that I don't agree with. So it's very definite. It's spiritual work for me, and it's moment by moment work.
Definitely. So
it's a test, isn't it? You just can feel it every time. Wow, here's another chance. Here's another test coming.
We don't like that word, Nancy.
Pardon me?
We don't like that word test.
Well, what's another word for it then?
I don't know.
Opportunity for growth.
Yep, exactly.
Opportunities differently.
Well, I've heard that our earth experience is expressed in the book of Job, that all of us on the earth are like Job, and the devil is testing us all, that we are remaining faithful to God and in this experience, and we will come out of it as long as we can retain our spiritual connection and understand what we're really here for, not let the fear and the negativity carry us away.
Yeah, but if we don't finish it in this lifetime, guess what? We're going to be
We
back
get to do it
again,
again.
aren't we, John?
Yeah.
John keeps saying we're all coming back again.
Can you read the message on the peace pole? May peace prevail on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Creator of that message says that every time you pray for world peace, you are causing brilliant light to ripple through the universe, whether you realize it or not.
Cool.
Very good.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Very good.
I like it.
Hey, Rose, Rose, your
Muted.
speaker's not on, Rose.
Am
There
I
you
not
go.
good enough?
There you are.
I was just saying, Hamid Bey also said, when your thoughts are positive and helpful for people, that's a ripple effect too.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's true.